Hi everyone, we're talking about side bending today, and this video is going to be a little different because it's not intended as a practice video. In other words, I'm not going to talk you through a series of poses that you're going to practice along with me. Rather, I want to show you 3 different side bending postures that use gravity to help you get really good movement of the spine in a sideways direction. And these 3 different side bends, some of them will be maybe more comfortable for one person than a different variation. So you might switch between them for that reason. You also might find that your energy level guides you towards a particular side bend, or that your environment makes a particular side bend more useful. So I want to show you a variety today. And I'll just show you how to do them, and then you can play with how they fit into your lives. Side bending is really helpful for our spines. One reason is simply that we don't do a whole lot of it, many of us in our lives, and we certainly maybe don't do it intentionally, where we're really thinking about getting nice distributed movement out of the spine, and maybe not when we're thinking about doing it in both directions as well. So these are ways to get more side bending in a way that's a little bit more intentional. The first side bend I'm going to show you is a restorative side bend. You're going to need a roll of some kind. I've rolled a blanket. You could roll a large towel. You could use a rolled yoga mat if you're not on it. Sometimes people ask me about foam rollers. Those are usually too firm. But if you have a felt pad, you could roll that as well. That might work well for some people. You're going to need another blanket for your head, and you may need a blanket or pillow for your legs as well. This roll is going to go sideways, perpendicular to your body, and you're going to lie down on your side. And there's a couple of options here. So the first one I'll show you is we're going to put this roll next to my hip so that when I come down, it fits into the space between my hip bone and my rib cage. Now, depending on the length of your waist, you may actually have your ribs partially supported on this roll. But the idea here is that your hip bone is able to come down to the floor on one side and it feels supported. If it feels too big, just unroll whatever you're using a little bit and you have a smaller roll. So that's one thing that's great about using rolled props. You'll see I have my head supported here. And for some people, especially if you're getting discomfort in the lower body, you might try putting a pillow or a blanket in between your legs here. Top arm can go alongside your body, in front of your body, or it can drape up over your ear if that's comfortable for your shoulder. In this particular position, you're going to think about your top hip bone moving away from your bottom ribs. So lengthening through the side waist as you're breathing here and getting a little bit more space here between pelvis and rib cage. And you will want to do both sides for all of these side bends. The other option is that we move this roll up a little bit higher. So now I'm placing it so that it sits just below my arm. If my arm comes straight out from my shoulder, this roll is going to sit just a little bit lower than that level, but not so much that it displaces my arm up. Still going to support the head. If you like the support between your legs, you'll do that here as well. Now here, the roll is under a little bonier part of your body. So you may find there's a little mild discomfort at first. If the discomfort is intense, please make the roll smaller, use a different material, or discontinue this. It may not be the right thing for you right now at this particular moment in time. We're looking for any sensation to get lighter as you spend time here. So if you're noticing that the discomfort is intensifying, that's another sign that this isn't right for you. Same arm options above, in front, or over the ear. For this variation, you're going to focus on the top side of the rib cage. As you're breathing in, you're thinking about really bringing the breath into the top ribs and creating space between each rib as you inhale, finding areas where you can relax as you breathe out. These are restorative postures. So you might start with a couple of minutes on each side, see how that agrees with you. And then if that's feeling pretty good, then you might choose to spend a little longer on each side. But work up to it slowly so that you see how your body adapts to it. After you come off of this restorative side bend, I like to come and just lie on my back for a few minutes and just observe how I feel before I get up and move on to the next thing. The second side bend I'm going to show you is a seated side bend. This is a little bit more active because you are holding your body upright. However, you may notice that gravity is still playing an important role when we do this kind of side bend. You're going to bring one hand down to the floor. If you're seated in a chair, you can bring your hand to the side of the chair or to your lap next to you. Or sometimes there's an armrest on the chair, so that can get a little awkward. You can bring your arm to the armrest, but that's often a little bit too high for doing a side bend. So I recommend just draping your arm over and then bringing your hand to the seat of the chair if that's your situation. On the floor, especially if you're sitting on a cushion, if you don't feel like the floor is easily reached with your hand, just bring a block or a heavy book or something underneath your hand so that your hand's elevated a little bit up. From here, we're going to take the opposite arm up alongside the ear if that feels okay in your shoulder. And then we're going to think about really curving through the whole side body as we come over into this side bend. So sometimes I'll see people side bend and it's like they're more leaning over from their hips. You might even see the leg or the buttock lift a little bit off the floor, and you will get a side body stretch here, but you're doing a much, much less movement in the spine. So my preference, because we are side bending the spine today, is that you be a little higher up and really think about letting that curve come through the whole side of the rib cage here. And you're going to take some nice breaths into this top side. Just like in the previous one, you're thinking about spreading each rib a little further with your inhale and relaxing a little bit with your exhale. And as you breathe out, you might then start to really feel into what is the role that gravity plays here. As you're arched over a little bit to the side, you may find that you're able to relax a little bit more as you breathe out. Using that in-breath to create more space, and then relaxing as you breathe out. Okay, again, we're going to do each side here. And this is a really nice variation for when you are already in a seated position. It fits really nicely into the middle of your day, and it can be a really nice balancing movement to do. After you've done both sides, I like to just take a moment and sit more symmetrically and just feel all of the sensations, notice how my breathing feels, all of that before I move on. Your third side bend option is a standing side bend, and we're going to do it gravity assisted, which means we're going to hold on to something as we go. I'm going to show you a couple of different ways you can do this. The best way, if you've got the opportunity, is probably to get a yoga strap and to buckle it into a loop. We want that buckle to be done correctly so that when you pull it, it doesn't have give to it. You're going to need a door that closes firmly. The safest way is to have a door that opens away from you, so it would be better if this door opened that way. However, I know this closet door is trustworthy, so I'm going to use it for filming purposes here today. You're going to place the buckle, the fastened buckle of that strap over the door, and then you're going to close the door firmly. And you're going to pull to make sure any give is taken out, any slack is taken out of that strap. The buckle is what's catching on the other side of the door. You're then going to stand with that strap over to one side. You're going to bring your opposite arm up, get really grounded through your feet, and start to find a little side bend over towards the strap. And when you're able to reach it, you're going to grasp that strap with your hand. Now, you're going to lean your body weight away from the strap a little bit. And I know already my tendency is to stick the hip way out like this. So that is what it is. Get a little bit of stretch in my hip. but I'm not getting a lot of spinal movement. So if I want to do more spinal movement, I'm going to think about rib cage going out to the side, curving through the spine, making more of a crescent moon shape through the spine. And then as I am hanging into that strap, bringing my breath into the side rib like we did in the seated side bend, thinking about creating space between each rib, seeing where I can relax as I breathe out. You want to pay attention to sensations here. So if you have things going on in your shoulders, this may not be the best variation for you, but it's something that you can play with and try. It can feel really good if you're able to do this. If you have access to a rope wall, of course, you could use a rope wall, and that would be even better. And if you don't really have access to a strap or you don't have a good firmly closing door, you can play around with other objects that you can hold on to. So perhaps you can grip onto the door frame itself. It's going to feel a little different. You maybe will not be able to hang as much, but you can play with finding that opening through the shoulder, the armpit, and the side ribs, holding on to something that is steady. Make sure if you're going to lean into it that it will support your weight. That part is really important. And then after you do both sides here, you can just stand a little more symmetrically, notice what you feel, check in with your breathing. As we've done with the other side bends, notice the results. I hope these are fun to play with and figure out which ones work best for you under which circumstances. If you have questions or you want to share your experiences, please do that in the comments. And have fun exploring. Side bends are great for us. They can be really, really helpful, especially when we're able to use the shoulders as part of the side bend and to really feel into how gravity can help us get that nice opening through the whole side, as well as, of course, using our breath. Have fun exploring. Take really, really good care.